Hey guys, it's Sash, and today I'm going to give you guys my rankings of all the cards in Clash Royale, from the best cards in the game to the worst. I would like to quickly announce that my clan Altar of Elites is looking for the best players in the world to join us. Players who have a competitive drive to get better. You must have a personal best of at least 5,000 trophies to join. Also, since the last giveaway was such a success, I'll be doing another 1-month giveaway, giving away $200 worth of iTunes or Google Play gift cards. To enter, make sure you're subscribed, have notifications enabled, like the video, and leave a comment about the video. Rankings of these cards are based off of the following factors: how successful and popularly used these cards are among top players on the ladder, tournaments, and challenges. How versatile these cards are, meaning that they can be used successfully in many decks, not just one or two. And the potential of these cards in the current meta and the meta that would be divulging within the next couple of weeks. Let's start with the top 5 cards, which are the main utility cards that will almost always give you an elixir advantage in a battle. These 5 cards are the most popularly used cards among top players. If you scroll through all the decks the top 200 global players are using right now, you're gonna see that their decks are filled with these cards. Number 1, the Log, which is the most used card among top players. It provides incredible value against all ground units. It kills Goblin Barrel, Dark Goblin Princess Skeleton Army, and Goblin Gang for a positive elixir trade. Number 2, the Zap spell, which is also a super versatile card that can instantly kill threats such as skeletons and bats, as well as stun and reset the target of units, as well as reset the charge of units such as Inferno Tower, Infernal Dragon, Battle Ram, and so on, all for just 2 elixir. Number 3, the Ice Spirit, which is another super versatile and useful card. Only 1 elixir allows you to freeze and reset your target, as well as deal splash damage, can one-shot bats and skeletons, and is an excellent card for cycling and keeping your average elixir cost low. Number 4, the Knight, which is the best support distractor and mini tank in the game. He has very good HP for a 3 elixir card, while also he has a fast attack rate and can deal a lot of damage if left alone. Number 5, the Elixir Collector. The Elixir Collector is at the top of being one of the deadliest cards in the game. It gives beatdown decks their identity. With it, you can form insane pushes with Golem, Giant, 3 Musketeers, Battle Ram, and so on. Almost all powerful beatdown decks by top players carry this card. Next, we have the 4 most powerful offensive threats in the entire game. These cards can absolutely devastate your opponent with a high return value with low risk. Number 6, the Night Witch. Even after her recent nerf, she's still one of the most deadliest offensive threats in the game. It's just insanely scary when she's behind a tank such as Giant or Golem, or even a 2 elixir Ice Golem. She poses way too much pressure, as you not only have to worry about her behind the tank, but also her bats that she continually spawns. Number 7, the Battle Ram, which is a super dangerous card. It can get a charge going on fast, and if its charge lands on your arena tower, it does massive damage. You not only have to worry about its charge, but also the 2 barbarians, which together can deal a lot of damage if left alone. Number 8, Graveyard. Although there are plenty of ways to stop Graveyard skeletons, there are very few ways to stop it when it's in a combination with the spell cards such as Poison, and when your arena tower is distracted. And the damage racks up incredibly fast if you don't have a good answer for it. Number 9, 3 Musketeers. The 3 Musketeers have never been as strong as they are now, thanks to Battle Ram and Heal Spell making 3 Musketeers even better. The 3 Musketeer Battle Ram deck is one of the most used decks by top players, and it's incredibly difficult to stop it when they've safely placed down an Elixir Collector. Next, we have the 4 big spells of Clash Royale. One of these spells is almost imperative for carrying in most decks. Number 10, Poison. Poison is one of the best counters to Graveyard, as it can kill skeletons in 1 tick. Its large radius is also super beneficial on both offense and defense, and it's very useful against Night Witch. Number 11, Fireball. Fireball is becoming a very important card right now to carry as opposed to Poison, because the heal spell card completely cancels out Poison's damage. Number 12, Tornado. Tornado is a super powerful defensive card. It not only makes it very difficult to commit too much in a single lane, but it also makes it very difficult to play certain cards early due to Tornado's ability to pull those units towards the King's Tower and activate it. Number 13, Heal. The new Heal spell has quickly become one of the deadliest cards right now in the meta. The bigger the combination of troops, the more powerful Heal is. Meaning if you allow your opponent to play something heavy such as 3 Musketeers and Battle Ram, then you're gonna have a really hard time stopping that when their Heal can make your spells quite useless. Then we have more of the best cards that offer a lot of utility. Number 13, Ice Golem, which doesn't attack units like a Knight would, but the Ice Golem is cheaper and his death splash damage and slowdown is super useful against big threats. Not only that, you can use him to kite away threats such as a P.E.K.K.A. Number 14, Goblins. Now that Goblins can survive against the Zap spell, and since the 1 Elixir Skeletons card got nerfed to only 3 Skeletons, the 2 Elixir Goblins card has taken its place in most decks. Even though Goblins die to the log, this can actually be a good thing as this will allow you to bait the log and use certain defensive cards such as Tombstone safely. Number 15, Princess. Princess is currently a pretty underrated card and probably should see a lot more usage in non-bait decks. Although she's super good in log bait decks, she's also very good in other decks with her long range splash, allowing her to safely sprinkle arrows around from a distance on the other lane. Number 16, Mega Minion, which is a very versatile card for only 3 Elixir, can survive a fireball, does a lot of damage, and of course it flies and targets flying units. Mega Minion is a very useful card right now because of all the Night Witches flying around. Number 17, Bandit. Bandit is a very powerful card, costing only 3 Elixir while being able to instantly pressure an opponent with her speed and dashing ability. If you don't react quickly enough or don't have a proper counter in your hand, then she can quickly deal a lot of damage. Number 18, the Electro Wizard, which is a very powerful card on defense and offense. He comes with a zap, which can stun and reset his targets. He can survive a fireball, making him pretty deadly behind a tank as well. He makes defending easier with his constant stun. Number 19, the Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon is like the all-inclusive, versatile Clash Royale card. Decent HP, decent damage, decent speed. Everything is decent with the Baby Dragon. You can't go wrong. Number 20, Skeletons, which used to be a top 5 card when there were 4 of them. Unfortunately, removing one of them took a big hit. Going from 4 to 3 is a 33% difference, and that's pretty huge. Still, Skeletons are a very useful card for cycling and keeping your average elixir cost low. Number 21, the Goblin Gang, which now has 1 less Spear Goblin, but it is still a very useful card and is excellent for baiting the log and can deal a large amount of damage if left ignored. Number 22, Executioner. Executioner is one of the best defensive cards in the game. Couple him with the Tornado and he can shut down huge pushes. Not only that, he's the best counter to the Night Witch. Number 23, the Goblin Barrel, which is a very deadly card due to the fact that you can't zap to kill the goblins, so you have to mostly rely on using the log, which can be baited pretty easily by cards such as Princess or Goblin Gang. Number 24, Hog Rider, which is almost always among the most popularly used offensive cards in the game ever since the start of the game. It's fast, bulky, and does a lot of damage. Number 25, the Giant. For only 5 Elixir, the Giant has so much more HP than the Hog Rider, but is slow. Being slow is actually a good thing for him because you can build up really big pushes while using him as a shield. Number 26, the P.E.K.K.A, which is currently seeing the most usage right now ever because of how well she's able to counter common threats such as Battle Ram, 3 Musketeers, Hog Rider, Giant, and Golem, and other tanks. Number 27, the Golem. Although Golem costs 8 Elixir, he can reward you big time if you make smart positive Elixir trades or carry the Elixir Collector. If you give your opponent the Elixir lead, it becomes an absolute nightmare to stop a Golem backed up by something like Night Witch and Baby Dragon behind it. Number 28, Miner. Miner is quite an underrated card and is mostly seen in bait decks, but he's a very useful card in other decks and is also a great counter to the Elixir Collector. Using him as a shield to shield your goblins, skeletons, bats, or minions can allow you to deal massive amount of damage to an arena tower. Number 29, the Expo is a super deadly card. If you allow it to lock onto your arena tower, then prepare to lose a lot of HP as you helplessly try to take it down when your opponent continuously counters your counters. Number 30, Mortar. Similarly, Mortar can be used the same way. Less damage over time but for the price of only 4 elixir, allowing you to cycle quicker. The best Expo or Mortar Siege players will play aggressively on defense when they're leading and then finish you off by cycling their spell cards such as Rocket or Fireball at the end. Number 31, Rocket. Because of that, it's very unsafe to take tower damage against the Rocket user. If the player is losing, he can play aggressively on defense while destroy your arena tower with Rocket and run away with the draw. Rocket also punishes heavy pushes, so just don't miss. Number 32, Lightning. Lightning has a very big radius and can deal a lot of damage to 3 units with the highest HP. Its biggest use is its ability to also stun and reset Inferno Towers, while it's hindered by players who use Battle Ram, as the Battle Ram acts as 3 units, the Ram and the 2 Barbarians, so the Lightning isn't seeing as much usage as it should be. Number 33, Arrows. For decks that are very weak to Minion Horde, Arrows offers great value with its very large radius. Not often seen due to the Log, Zap, Fireball, Poison, and Tornado being more versatile, but with the rise in usage of Heal and Minion Horde, more players are using Arrows. Number 34, Minions. Minions are a cheap 3 elixir card that can deal a lot of damage together, fly, and also are a great counter to big threats such as Night Witch and Graveyard. Oh, and they can't be killed by a Log or Zap. Number 35, the Minion Horde, which is becoming more deadlier with Heal and are also a great counter to Night Witch and Graveyard. They are very deadly with the 3 Musketeers as they can be used to bait Fireball or Poison. Number 36, Archers. They can be split into 2 lanes, have great range, deal a lot of damage, and do not die to either Log or Zap. They are also great against Graveyard and are excellent on defense when used with the support distractor like Knight or Ice Golem. Number 37, the Tombstone. Tombstone is probably the best defensive building in the game right now because it's the best defense against the Battle Ram while also costing only 3 elixir as opposed to a 5 elixir Inferno Tower. Tombstone can effectively counter Hog Rider, P.E.K.K.A, Golem, Giant, and other big threats. Number 38, the Inferno Tower, which is still the best tank killing defense, the best counter to Golem, Giant, P.E.K.K.A, Lava Hound, Balloon, and so on. Number 39, the Dark Goblin, which has one of the biggest ranges in the game. He can lock on an arena tower quick and deal quick damage before your opponent can usually react. He's also an excellent bait for the Log. Number 40, Skeleton Army. Although Skeleton Army isn't as threatening as Goblin Gang on offense and dies to Zap, it does an immense amount of damage on defense quick. Just make sure to have another card that can bait Zap or Log. Number 41, Bowler. Bowler is one of the best defensive troops in the game, killing and pushing back most troops. Unfortunately, his inability to target air troops is what sets him apart from the Executioner. 42, Balloon. Balloon is a super deadly offensive card when behind the tanks such as Lava Hound. However, 3 Musketeers, Night Witch, Executioner, and Tornado are being played everywhere in this meta. Lavaloon just isn't as intimidating as it once was. Number 43, Lava Hound. Lava Hound struggles in this meta where there's so many 3 Musketeers and Night Witch users. Night Witch can basically summon bats to deal with the Lava Hound while focusing on the counter push with the tank. Number 44, Musketeer. Musketeer is a very useful long-range attacker in many decks, but her inability to counter Graveyard as effectively as Archers is what sets her apart. Number 45, Valkyrie, which is a very underrated card in this meta. She's super useful against Graveyard and Poison users, Battle Ram users, and also against 3 Musketeers. Just use another distractor like Ice Golem in front of her when countering a big 3 Musketeers Battle Ram push, and watch her quickly counter it. Number 46, Witch, which is one of the best counters to the Graveyard. Able to kill skeletons in one hit while also being able to survive Fireball and Poison. She can also be super powerful on offense. If your opponent has a counter such as Executioner or Bowler, just make sure to play the Witch on the other lane. Number 47, Mini P.E.K.K.A, which is another very underrated card. He's an excellent counter to the Battle Ram, Bandit, Hog Rider, Giant, Golem, Royal Giant, and so on. You can even use the Mini P.E.K.K.A with an Ice Spirit behind or Ice Golem in front to effectively counter 3 Musketeers. Number 48, Lumberjack. Although Lumberjack isn't as tanky as Mini P.E.K.K.A, he can provide a very beneficial rage after his death, and this can be very deadly in the right deck. Something like Giant, Night Witch, and Lumberjack can be very dangerous, as rage will also increase the Night Witch's spawn rate. Number 49, Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard used to be one of the best cards in the game and the best defensive card in the game, but unfortunately it has fallen a lot due to its inability to kill skeletons and bats in one hit. Ice Wizard is still one of the best cards in the low arenas, but at the top it fails to find good homes. Number 50, Fire Spirits, which are also very underrated, being very useful, taking out minion hordes on heal quickly, dealing tons of damage to Battle Ram and Barbs, can finish off a Night Witch and her bats, and also be used to quickly finish off 2 splitted Musketeers. They need to be used more. Number 51, the Furnace, which is a very decent card but fails to counter big threats such as Golem, P.E.K.K.A, and Giant, while also isn't as effective against Battle Ram and Hog Rider as Tombstone is for less cost. Number 52, Cannon. Cannon has dropped a lot in usage as it just doesn't provide the same defensive value as Tombstone. Tombstone can take a charge from a Battle Ram and continue to defend against the Barbarians with Skeletons. Cannon can't, but has the benefit of not being weak to the log. Number 53, Inferno Dragon. Inferno Dragon is seeing a lot more use, especially in those bridge spam decks. However, it's still a very easy card to counter, and Ice Spirit, Zap are everywhere in this meta. Number 54, Guards. Guards are another very underrated card, having the advantage of not being weak to the log like the Goblin Gang is. Guards are an excellent defense against Graveyard, Bandit, 2 Musketeers, and many other big threats. Number 55, the Royal Giant, which is a decent card. However, because it's a common card, it's very easy to level it up, and so you have a lot of low-level players with high-level Royal Giants, and that can be pretty annoying. When facing Royal Giants, just make sure to plan out a counter push before killing the Royal Giant. If you only focus on killing the Royal Giant, then you're not gonna win much. Number 56, Elite Barbarians. Like Royal Giant, Elite Barbarians are also decent, but are a common card. Over-leveled Elite Barbarians can be quite annoying. Start working on your deployment reflexes, or these guys are gonna get to your arena tower. Number 57, Barbarians. Barbarians are an excellent defensive card against many threats such as Elite Barbarians, Royal Giant, Battle Ram, 3 Musketeers, Graveyard, and almost all tanks except P.E.K.K.A. Problem is, they're very weak to spells such as Fireball and Poison, and are too slow to pose much pressure on offense. 58, Freeze Spell, which can be a very deadly card if you can catch your opponent off guard. A well-timed and placed Freeze Spell can easily win you the game. Number 59, the Prince. Unfortunately, the Log, Zap, Ice Spirit, which are the 3 most used cards by top players, are everywhere. It's really hard to take advantage of the Prince's charge. He is 5 elixir and is easily distracted by low HP troops. However, with the right support, he can be very deadly. He has very decent HP. Number 60, Barbarian Hut. Barbarian Hut is an excellent defense, but it's the most expensive building in the game. It's just too risky. Regardless of where you place the Barbarian Hut, a Hog Rider or Battle Ram can bypass it and target your arena tower on the other lane. Number 61, the Giant Skeleton, which is an excellent defensive troop with the ability to shut down big pushes like a rocket, but the problem is he's too expensive and his death damage can go to waste easily. He doesn't have that much HP to be a great tank like the Giant, and a smart player will always target the Giant Skeleton from behind to escape his death damage. At number 62, the Wizard. Wizard isn't bad, but he's just so outclassed by the Executioner. Executioner can target multiple troops behind his target and survive poison and lightning, unlike the Wizard. He also has a bigger splash radius and area of damage than the Wizard. Number 63, Sparky. Sparky is simply the worst legendary card, being countered by like half the cards in the game. Sparky is a very good card in the lower arenas, but struggles against smart players in higher arenas. Number 64, Dark Prince. The Dark Prince just can't find a good place in this meta. He has that nice splash damage, but is easily surrounded and killed by something like goblins. Valkyrie is just a lot better and is much more useful against Graveyard and Three Musketeers. Dark Prince does have that sweet charge, but again, Log, Zap, and Ice Spirit are everywhere. Number 65, the Bomber, which does a lot of splash damage, but he only targets ground units and has very little HP, and his range isn't that great. He's just too easy to beat and doesn't help much against air troops. Number 66, Mirror. Mirror is a pretty fun card, but isn't the best for competitive play. It's just not very safe to use the same card twice, unless you're using a bait deck. But even then, paying one more elixir to use the same card twice isn't always rewarding. However, I found Mirror to be a lot more effective in 2 vs 2 mode, where you can mirror spells or minor to continually deal damage to win. Number 67, Clone. Like Mirror, Clone is another very fun card, but just isn't the best card for competitive play. Log, Zap, Ice Spirit are everywhere and can kill those clones quickly. Number 68, Rage, which is another fun card to play around with. Try out Rage with Witch and Night Witch, and it not only speeds up their attack rate, but it also speeds up their skeletons and bat spawn rate. Number 69, Spear Goblins. Spear Goblins are good for chip damage, but oftentimes it's just not worth wasting 2 elixir for some small chip damage. These guys are just too weak and die to zap. Goblins are a lot better and do a lot more damage and do not die to equal level zap. Number 70, Tesla. Tesla just doesn't fit right now. Inferno Tower is way better for killing tanks and Lava Loon, while Tombstone and Cannon offer a lot more value against ground threats for cheap. Number 71, Goblin Hut. The Spear Goblin Hut just isn't intimidating. Costing an expensive 5 elixir to spawn Spear Goblins, the weakest troops in the game, you can simply just ignore the Goblin Hut and let the Spear Goblins deal chip damage, and you can end up winning because you took advantage of your opponent spending 5 elixir on this card. Number 72, the Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower is quite a powerful ground defense, but it's a very expensive 5 elixir card that can't touch air units. If you're using Bomb Tower, then you better pray your opponent doesn't use something like Lava Loon. Even then, this card just isn't that great against tanks either, like Giants or Golem, or even Royal Giant who can outrange it. So, hope you guys liked my rankings of all the cards in Clash Royale. The game is always evolving, so don't expect these rankings to not change in the future. Thanks for watching, be sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more daily Clash Royale content, and I'll see you guys again soon. Later!